Hey there everyone, Mazarok here, and today I want to go over my Vengeance Demon Hunter Dragonflight wishlist. Now this one's going to be a little bit different for quite a few reasons. Number one is the class itself. Number two, because we've already got the DK and Druid trees, so we already have some sort of idea of what the trees are going to be like a little bit more, so that's kind of be the focus of discussion. Before I get started, please like, comment, subscribe. It goes such a long way, and I'm flabbergasted by all the support everyone has given me. Thank you so much. If you want to ask me questions about anything you see live, you can get a hold of me on Twitch. I'm streaming 5 to 6 days a week right now, and as well there's the community Discord link down below, which, you know, great positive community people down there. Absolutely fantastic. Go on by, check that out if you have any questions. Those are the two best ways to get a hold of me. And lastly, there is my Patreon that I've just recently relaunched again with lots of cool stuff. Community raid night with trivia and transmog contests and prizes, and a monthly D&D night, which is going to be there's going to be a raffle for that because I can only, you know, do so much. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So, number one reason why this one's going to be different is we already know the trees, right? We know what the trees are going to look like more than we did with the previous iterations of these Dragonflight wish lists. Let me get rid of my little owl buddy there, so you can actually see my character. So what does that mean for Vengeance, or Demon Hunters as a whole, really? Because Vengeance and Havoc are in a position where they are really the only class in this game that have ever been fully designed with this current talent system in mind. This is how they're created, this is how they were made, and this is how it was done, versus any of the other specs that have been around forever, or even the addition of Monk. Monk was obviously being designed in Cataclysm, maybe even beforehand, with the old talent tree. Kind of, that's their basic model, and then everything was converted over. Now, it was obviously released with something like this, if I'm not mistaken, versus the old style talent trees, but the thing is, it was being created in an era where the old style talent trees were still there, so that sort of mentality and philosophy of those obviously took place into the creation of the class and the specs, versus Demon Hunter, really, that's it. This is it. You have your, you know, what, 7 talents to choose from? And out of 3, that's this is how it was designed, that's how it was made. And of course in Legion there was the great pruning, where so many other classes and everything got shrunk down, where if you see any of my other classes, or if you look at any of my other videos playing any other tank, all of my buttons are filled up. Every button has something. And there's even some stuff on some classes that I just don't have on my bars because I just don't use them ever, because there's better options to be using some of your resource on, to, you know, things like that, or just things that are just not good to press for that class or spec and don't matter. Versus Vengeance, I have a lot of keybinds here that just have nothing. So what's going to happen with the tree for Dragonflight? Number one, I think it's going to be a lot skinnier. If you've looked at Bear and you've looked at DK, there's like some rows that are like 4 wide. I think it's going to be a lot skinnier, basically probably being like a two branch system out with like some occasional 3 joints. So what do I want to see in those? A couple of things that I want to see. I would like to see a node. So the node is like literally, it's 1 point and you choose between 2 abilities, and you can only ever have one of those 2 abilities, where it's quickened sigils. So you get this, you know, 20%, it activates faster, and you get a 20% cooldown reduction on it, which is very nice. But I would also like to see the opposite, where, like, let's say call them empowered sigils, where the cooldowns are what they are base, but they're 20% more powerful, giving you, the tank, the option to choose, do you want to use these abilities 20% more often? And in the course of a Mythic Plus run, you get so many more of them, right? Even just shaving 5 to 10 seconds off of an ability for a lot of Kyrian tanks makes Mechanicos the prime choice in Raid, because you'll be able to get 1 or 2 more of them in the course of a raid fight than if you didn't pick that. And that alone is huge. So having a 20% reduced cooldown on Quicken Sigils, or choosing the Empowered Sigils, will give you two very separate and strong options depending on what the fights look like, what the encounter design, Mythic Plus or Raid, what is, how big are the pulls in Mythic Plus? Is it something where you're just going to want to revolve around 1 minute cooldowns or 1.5 minute cooldowns? Where, something like Elysian Decree, because let's face it, Elysian Decree is sticking around, right? It's literally the only option for Vengeance Demon Hunter, and if you look at any guides, they're just like, click here. So that one's going to stick. I also do think that Sinful Brand and the Hunt are going to return, because Demon Hunters have so few talents to choose from already that they're going to have to keep a lot more with this tank and spec, than say other tanks, right? Where they already have a lot of abilities and the Covenant's just one on top. This one here, like, 2 of my buttons here, actually 3 of my buttons, Steward, File, and Decree, are literally all one Covenant ability right now. So they're going to have to keep things like that. So I think the first thing that I would love to see is a node that gives you Quicken Sigils or Empowered Sigils, and I think that would be a lot of fun. And then from there, you can branch off and have Sigil of Chains, Sigil of Misery, and of course your Sigil of Silence, which is going to keep in and around, and those could all be empowered as well. So I don't know, maybe an empowered version of Sigil of Misery. If you took that, what could happen is, like Entangling Roots, you could have so much damage being done while they're frightened or horrified. I can't remember what it is. In fear. Fear and Disoriented would give you so much of a damage profile before it would break instead of instantaneously. That would be an empowered version. The empowered version for Sigil of Silence would obviously be silencing a little bit longer, because this is a very, very powerful ability. And of course, Sigil of Chains, you could root them down for longer, give them 90% slow instead of 70. There's definitely some options there that you could work with that would be really, really nice to have. In the tree as well, I would like to see the movement-based abilities not being as difficult to get to. So you could have an option between Fellblade and Abyssal Strike, or maybe even both. But on this first row, you have 2 movement-based abilities, and then you have 1 Agonizing Flames. But what I would like to see is Abyssal Strike come in, but I would also like to see Fellblade come in and not actually... so I would just like to see that come in as an option. I think it's a lot of fun to press. It's a great way to run in or get out, or give you a lot more kite options, which Vengeance is really, really good at. So if you're going to do anything, doubling down on their mobility, especially because, like, right now, DKs are very strong and they have absolutely no mobility, but Vengeance is really strong because they already have good mobility. I think giving them more mobility would be even way more fun and not super broke, because it's something mobility is something you have to think about in raid encounters as well, because if you want a boss positioned a certain way, you can't necessarily just Fellblade out of the way and move the boss around, things like that. There's definitely some weird options to be going on there. I would like to see Fracture become a little bit more baseline, get it a little bit quicker. This is basically the go-to, mainly because of single target. But I want to see Feed the Demons. Feed the Demons is very fun in AoE settings. I have played this on Gambit, where most of your trash is a lot of AoE, right? You're just pulling in stupid amounts of mobs in Gambit, so you're pulling 3 or 4, and you've got like 25 mobs on top of you, where you don't need to hit Fracture as much. So I would like to see Feed the Demons, and the reason why I would like to see Feed the Demons, be a little bit more prominent is right now, without this ability, you cannot have full uptime on Spikes. And Spikes, to me, does not feel like a good enough button to press to not be able to work it in 100% of the time and have 100% uptime in fights. It's a lot. You get 12 out of 15 seconds when you play it right. But giving the players the ability to use their skill to have full uptime, I think would be a lot better. So I want to see Feed the Demon, be a lot more prominent in the skill tree and really give them some sort of option there. As well, I would like to see maybe something that increases the parry chance of Demon Spikes a little bit more. So right now it's a base of 15%. It increases your armor as well. I would like to see that go up to 20-25%. Doesn't need to be broken and overpowered at 40% or anything like that. especially for something that has full uptime. But just being able to empower a little bit more would make Demon Spikes feel like just a super fun button to press. This last row here. So these last two rows, these are kind of a little bit difficult. Last Resort is basically your always default. Ruinous Bulwark, I think, is a really cool idea that they could work on a lot more. But I think it should be like 100 or 70, like 75% or 80% of the overhealing converted into an Absorb Shield for 10 seconds. 10 seconds really isn't that long, and especially in Mythic Plus, you're taking so much damage that you're going to burn through it so fast enough. But being able to get Demonic and Runic Bulwark while still having Last Resort would make the class feel so much more fun. Just so much more fun. Another thing that I would love to see in Dragonflight is something that gives you more or better single target. What we could do here is Spirit Bomb. This is one way you could work Spirit Bomb, is if it's only being applied to one target, it deals like 50% more damage or something. That's only if it hits one target, because this will make this button so much more fun to press. I'm just spitballing here, by the way. Like, I've come up with a few ideas and things like that, but by no means am I saying this is absolutely what needs to happen. I'm just trying to throw ideas and stuff in there, because one thing that I really don't want to see, and this is one of the things I did not cover in a lot of the other Dragonflight videos, especially after seeing the Blood DK one. I like a lot of the abilities on the Blood DK one, if you've seen that one. And if you've seen me comment my videos commenting on the tree itself and all of that, is I don't want to have to put 6 points into stamina upgrades. That feels bad. Straight up, that feels bad. Let's just get that one right out of the way. Please don't do that. Make the tree smaller, a little bit more compact. Whatever you have to do, I don't know. You could set it up so Demon Hunter might get a different talent points. I don't know. But there's a lot of really good abilities on here, but what they need to do is add more. I would love to see Vengeance Demon Hunter with Elysian Decree and The Hunt, or Sinful Brand. Have both. Really kind of make it, you can tune around that. But being able to have access to Elysian Decree and Sinful Brand would actually really help their single target a lot, I think. Could work around, be a lot of fun. I would also like to see something that gives you a second Sigil of Flame charge. This is a button that doesn't do enough damage, in my opinion, already. Like, it in the course of a dungeon, it does so little damage. It's unreal. I would like to see a second charge of this, because it only lasts for 6 seconds on a 24-second cooldown with Quickened. You could easily add in a second charge of this for a talent point or two, or whatever have you not. And the second talent point would give you a second charge and allow it to do more damage, and you're not breaking anything about the spec or class at all. You might actually make this button feel really, really good to press. Because right now, I press it when I need a global, but it's not fantastic. I would also like to see them work Soul Rending more into the spec and class itself, giving more leech capabilities to Demon Hunter. I think that the entire leech thing with the breaking of the souls and bringing in those souls and leeching off enemies can just be a lot of fun, and having some sort of mechanic where you can increase your leech somehow through Immolation Aura, or maybe Soul Cleave, or whatever have you not. Some sort of upkeep on that could be a lot of fun, allowing for a lot more tankiness, because it's just kind of how it works. The Fiery Brand build has also been fairly popular, especially once you start getting into higher keys, where getting global is definitely a thing. So I would like to see some sort of integration and customization into Fiery Brand. So maybe Fiery Brand hits 5 people, or if you have Immolation Aura or you hit Immolation Aura with Fiery Brand, it immediately spreads to several targets at once, and it kind of moves around or something. But have some sort of AoE CD where like you can put it down and you can gain that Absorb Shield and things like that. But one of the things, like I said, I don't want to see a convoluted tree for super basic things. I don't want to see 6, 7, 8 points that have to be put into stamina upgrades, because that just feels bad. Make the tree skinnier. and do different options like that. You could do a third charge of Demon Spike if that's really what you want to do to let you get full uptime on it, while you can decrease its uptime, like current uptime, so there's 6 seconds. You could have it down to 4 and give you 3 charges, or allow you to weave stuff in like that. But Vengeance right now is okay. Vengeance is one of the most fun tanks to play in AoE settings right now. Whenever I go in and I pull big mobs in Gambit or Sanguine Depths and I just gather everything up, it is incredibly fun. It loses that fun in single target. It's like, for me, this is the worst spec to play versus the boss, but it's the most fun spec to play in AoE scenarios. It's kind of a little weird like that. But again, that is personal opinion, fully subjective. I understand if this is your favorite tank and you love it in all scenarios and raid scenarios and everything else. Absolutely understand that. And I may not agree, but I understand that it's your preference, and that's cool. So those are definitely some changes that I would like to see happen. And I'll add one more. I would love to see some sort of more sigil customization or more sigils. Sigils are very unique to Vengeance Demon Hunter. No other spec or class has these types of mechanics and things. And right now, I just feel like, aside from, so you have like, what, a couple of sigils that you're really into? Because right now with Elysian Decree, you're going with Quicken, so you're losing Sigil of Chains. But I would like to see you have a few more. You know, maybe an AoE stun sigil that would, you know, you could stun for just, it doesn't even need to be a long time, just a couple of seconds, gain some breathing room or something. Perhaps an empowered Sigil of Silence that could, you know, do both. It could stun and silence. So if it doesn't necessarily just have to be good versus mobs, it could be caster mobs, it could be good versus everyone. It doesn't need to provide a 6-second stun, but give you something. All in all, I think Vengeance is in a super good spot. They're a lot of fun to play. I really do hope that we keep some of the tier set active here. So the tier set, if you don't know what it is the damage dealt by Emo Aura has a 10% chance to generate a Lesser Soul Fragment. That is super fun. And of course, the consuming a Lesser Soul Fragment reduces the remaining cooldown of your Immolation Aura or Feldev. That is an insanely fun playstyle that gives you so much Feldev uptime that I would like to see that 4-piece return. That's the video. Thank you very much for listening. Happy tanking. What do you think Vengeance Demon Hunter deserves? What do you think they should bring back? Is there something I'm missing? I did not play this class or spec in BFA or Legion, so is there something in one of those two that you would like to see returned in some sort of way that isn't broken or anything? Would love to hear about that in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you guys are excited for Dragonflight as much as I am. Have yourself a good day. Happy tanking.